Daily Herald. How do you hear me?
We have you loud and clear.
Excellent. Well, happy Thursday. What I'm going to do is I've got a few questions of my own, and then I'm going to follow up with some questions that readers have submitted. I'll let you know when I break into the reader questions. I noticed that you guys, when you're exercising, are
Thanks,
watching
Kathy. Good to talk to you.
Thank you. I noticed that you guys are, when you're exercising, you're watching something on a laptop. Is it a secret astronaut training video, or are you guys just catching up on the latest Desperate Housewives episode?
Actually, we get news up almost every day, and other shows that we like to watch on TV, and so it's a good way for us to take a break while we're exercising and keep us entertained so that we'll exercise for the full amount of time every day.
Dan, what are you looking forward to when you get back to Chicago?
Well, of course, see my family. That's the primary thing, and but there are some things that I really miss about Earth and Chicago specifically, and it's primarily the food. Like any Chicagoan, I'm pretty partial to pizza, and I've got my favorite. It's all good. It's all good in Chicago, but I love Aurelio's down the street from where I live, and I can't go to Chicago without eating some hot dogs and a good Italian beef. And those are things that you can't get anywhere else, even in the world, other than Chicago. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Dan, I know it's been hard for you being up there while you and your family are grieving the loss of your mom. Were you able to eventually see the memorial service for her?
No, not yet. They have it on video for me, and we've been staying pretty busy up here, so I thought I can wait until I get back. I was able to listen to the service while I was in orbit, as it happened live. The folks on the ground in Houston did a great job of figuring out a way to get me the audio real time, and it was really a wonderful experience to sit by the window and listen to the service, and of course think of my mom, but then watch the Earth go by. We go around the world in about 90 minutes, so I was able to go all the way around the Earth in the time of her service, and it was that was very special to me, and I'll certainly remember that, and it was a wonderful way for me to be able to experience the service.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to go into questions that our readers have submitted, and I'm going to do my best to ask them in the way in which they were presented so you get the full flavor. Madison Elementary 5th grader Casey from Lombard asks, if you didn't make it as an astronaut, what would be your fallback?
I was going to try to be a hot dog taster. No, actually, when I applied to be an astronaut, I was an engineer in an aerospace company out in Virginia. And I had a wonderful career there. I was doing exciting things. I was launching rockets that were taking satellites into space. But I was also looking at other careers when I was applying to be an astronaut, and I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, but I was thinking of maybe going into some sort of business. Becoming an astronaut it is a job, and I applied for it like any other job, and I was lucky enough to get selected. But if I didn't get selected, there were a variety of other things I would have liked to have done.
Judy Stanhope from Glendale Heights says, when my husband shaves his face with his electric razor, little whiskers get all over the sink. What happens in space?
That is a great question. And because little pieces of debris that normally fall to the floor or in the sink obviously float around and be actually kind of dangerous. They can get in your eyes. We do have electric razors. I don't know exactly how they work to keep the whiskers inside, but they do a pretty good job. And if we use the electric razors, sometimes you want to be near ventilation so that it gets sucked into a filter if it does get out. But most people here, I think, shave with we use a shaving gel kind of thing, not foam, but a gel. And so that all the little bits of whiskers stay in the gel, and it's much easier to clean it up that way. But that's a great question, and it applies to all sorts of little things. Anything that you might float away when you open the corner of a little packet of ketchup, you have to keep track of that, otherwise it'll float away.
Quinn Corcoran, a fourth grader from Elmhurst, says, Astronaut Dan, do you have space ice cream?
Sadly, we do not. We don't have a freezer to keep it in, but I think he's probably referring to that freeze-dried ice cream that sometimes you can buy at the Science Museum or some other shop. We don't have that, but we do have all sorts of different types of food that is dried, just like that ice cream, and most of it we add water to. But we have like strawberries that are dried up, and you can open up the package and eat them just like dried little, almost pieces of candy. But we don't have the ice cream stuff that he's talking about.
5-year-old George Granskog, Itasca. Would a fish in the water in a tank float all together, or would it float as a fish, water, and a tank all separate?
Well, actually, we have had experiments with fish on the shuttle before, I believe, and those are completely contained, obviously, for a good reason, to keep the water inside. But the fish do have problems swimming. Their neurosensory system is affected by being in microgravity as well, and so they end up swimming in circles.
If the International Space Station could have any restaurant attached to it, which one would you choose and what would you order first? Tristan Stone, Americana School, Glendale Heights.
Well, actually, I'd like a whole mall's worth of different choices right now, but I'd probably pick, I guess, Mexican or Thai, something really, really spicy.
And, of course, just like my previous answers, I'd love a good pizza place. I'm a hot dog lover, but a good sushi restaurant would be good, too.
All four.
All four. We'll go all of them.
Yeah, Dan, I heard that you had some special hot sauce shipped up there. Peggy, did you have any special food deliveries?
Had a lot of different kinds of salsa and sauces sent up because obviously after a while the food starts to taste a little bit the same, and so typically when we get ready for dinner, we ask what we're having with our sauce.
6-year-old Andelin Granskog from Itasca says, do you have to clean the space station?
That's a great question, and we absolutely do. Like I said, everything floats around, so even if you're drinking coffee or something and a little bit gets out, it'll float away as a little bubble of coffee or juice or whatever and get on the wall, and you need to clean that up. So about once a week, we dedicate about half the day to cleaning the station. That includes vacuuming the air filters so that the air filters stay clean, and then wiping down surfaces, and we want to make sure that we stay in a clean environment.
Emily Dybel, 5th grade Lombard, says, how does it feel to bring glory to our little, quiet, unnoticed town?
It's an honor for me to be one of the many things that brings honor to Lombard. I've always proudly said that it was a stop on the Underground Railroad, and I'm very proud of that fact about Lombard, and the home of Morris the cat and VeggieTales and all sorts of things. But I'm very proud to be from Lombard, and if it brings attention to what a wonderful town it is, I'm very pleased.
My dad says when you come back to Earth, you need physical therapy because you got used to having no gravity. Is that true? Juanito Bolajor, Addison.
We do require some readaptation time. Every crew member is different in how they readapt. We do a lot of exercise up here on orbit to try and prevent most of the major effects so that our muscles will stay strong and so our cardiovascular fitness will be good. But we do feel the effects of returning to Earth. I actually felt somewhat ill for the first day. My neurovestibular system was, I think, still going around me at about 17,500 miles an hour.
Dan